Welcome to this beginner total body workout. In this video, I am going to take you step by step through a very basic beginner strength training workout and give you instructions on how to do it properly. Once you're comfortable with this one, we're just going to do one set, and once you're comfortable, you can do this set 2 or even 3 times to continue to build strength. So let's start with a quick warm up. So you're just going to give yourself some knee hugs. So bring one leg up and then the other, and just give yourself a little bit, pull that knee in towards your chest, and you should feel a little bit of a stretch in your glutes. Okay, so in your bum. We're just going to do that a couple more times. Good, nice work. All right, from here, what I'm going to get you to do is some kicks, just to kind of some hip swings. Okay, so you can hold on to a chair if you need to for a little bit of balance, and we're just going to swing our leg back and forth. And we're really just kind of warming up the muscles, greasing up the joints a little bit here, especially if you're doing this in the morning and you're feeling a little bit stiff. And then same thing on the other leg, just a little bit of a hip swing forward and back, just to grease up those joints. Good. And then just to kind of warm up the upper body, we're just going to do some arm circles forward and back. So we'll start going backwards. And again, we're just increasing range of motion, warming up the upper body joints, and then same thing forward. And this is total body, so I've designed the program so that you can target all of the main muscles in your body, okay? And then just for increasing movement in the spine, both arms forward, and what you're going to do is you're going to open up and come back to center. Open on the other side, come back to center. Trying to keep your hips facing forward as much as possible so that you're getting that range of motion through your spine. Other way, and relax. Good, nice work. Okay, so our first basic exercise is a squat, and I like to start beginners off with a chair because it helps me to teach them how to do squats properly, because what a lot of women do when they first start squats is they push their knees forward, whereas in fact what we're doing is we're pushing our bum behind us. So stand just in front of a chair, and what you're going to do is you're going to push your hips behind you until you tap the chair, but don't sit down, and come back up. Bum down, tap, and come back up. Tap, and come back up. So see how it's not my knees that are going forward, it's my bum that's going behind me, okay? And with beginners, I like to do about 12 to 15 reps. So we don't use much weight. Instead, we try to get that strength by doing more repetitions with proper form. Once form is good, then you can start adding in more weight and doing less reps. But when you're first getting started with strength training, it's important to do repetition, right? To repeat that movement pattern as much as possible so that you start to get it ingrained in your brain. Let's do 2 more of these. 1, and then the next one, and done. Good job, okay? All right, so next up, you're going to need a band like this that you can pick up at pretty much any store, like a Winners or a Walmart. They're quite cheap. And what we're going to do is we're going to work our glutes, okay? So another muscle in the lower body, really important, helps with our core stability. And you're going to place the band, the tubing, underneath your feet with your feet about hip distance apart, okay? You can hold the tubing with the handles, or as we start doing this, if you find that it's too easy, you can grab lower down so that you're creating a little bit of tension in the tubing. And all we're going to do is we're going to take little penguin steps from side to side, okay? So I'm going to step to the right, bring my other foot closer. Step to the left, bring my foot closer. Step, 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 step. Now at first this is going to feel easy, but again, through repetition, you're going to start to feel that burning sensation in your bum, okay? And this is a great way of targeting the glutes. A lot of women develop what's called gluteal amnesia, where basically your butt stops engaging. And with this one, there's really no cheating. You can't really avoid getting your glutes to do the work. Okay, so just a little step to the side, step to the side. Let's do 2 more on each side. Again, we're working with lower, not as much resistance, but more repetition, right? 1 more to the right, 1 more to the left, and relax. Do you feel that burn in your bum? Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna work your hamstrings. And we're gonna do something called a single leg deadlift. And I'm gonna turn my chair around because I'm gonna be using it for balance here a little bit, okay? And so what you're gonna do, what we're working now is we're working your hamstrings, which is the back of your leg, okay? And in order to get the hamstrings to engage, we first have to elongate the muscle. So we're basically going to bend down and pick something up and stand up again multiple times, okay? Use the chair for balance. So we're balancing on, we're gonna do this on one leg and then on the other leg. So I'm balancing on one leg, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to reach down to pick something up, see how this other leg comes behind me, and see how my back is nice and straight, and then I'm gonna stand back up. And when I stand back up, I'm gonna push into this heel to get my hamstrings to do a little bit of work. So I'm gonna reach down, push into my heel, stand up. Reach down to pick something up, push into my heel to stand up. Reach and push. Good. Reach and push. And again here, I'm working on repetition. So I'm gonna do about 12 to 15 repetitions on one leg, and then I'm gonna do 12 to 15 repetitions on the other leg. Remember to really push into the heel as you're coming back up. You probably will also feel your glutes, your bum working here, okay? Back is nice and straight. And this might not feel like much in your hamstrings, but if you feel it tomorrow, if you feel the back of your legs when you go to the bathroom, know that it is this exercise. Good, let's just do 1 more. Reach and come back up. And now we're simply gonna repeat on the other leg. So I'm gonna move my chair so that you can see me, but you don't have to move your chair, of course. And we're gonna do the same thing on this side, okay? So I'm gonna reach down, push into my heel, and stand up. And one thing that I should mention, which I forgot to mention on the other leg, you will notice that my balancing leg has a slight bend in the knee, okay? And that's totally fine. We want a little bit of a bend here. So we're gonna reach down, push into the heel, and really notice, pay attention to your glutes and to the back of your leg, and see if you can feel those muscles tensing up a little bit here. Good, reach, push into your heel. Make sure that that back is straight. So as you're reaching, you're not letting yourself fold over. It's almost more like you're reaching in front of you as opposed to down on the floor. And come back up. Let's do about 5 more. Down and up. I'm not counting, so about 12 to 15 is what we're aiming for here. Good, let's do 1 more. And done. Beautiful. Okay, so you can put your chair off to the side. That's our little lower circuit. Now, if you want, you could stop this video, go through that again 2 or 3 more times. But if you just want to go through all the sequence, you can do that too. So you're going to need your weights for the next one. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be doing what I call a push and a pull, and this time we're going to be working in the vertical plane. So we're going to do a shoulder press and an upright row. Both of them are going to target your shoulders. So you're going to stand with your feet about hip distance apart, okay? And the one thing I'm going to get you to do from the side I'm going to show you is I'm going to get you to do a little bit of a tilt. So I'm going to get you to draw the top of your hips towards your rib cage and just slightly tilt your whole pelvic bone forward. And that's just going to help you engage your core a little bit. And then you're going to bring your weights with your palms facing forward so that they're just hovering right over your shoulders. And you're just simply going to push them up over your head and come back down. Okay, now we're going in a nice neutral grip here. So this should not be painful on your shoulders whatsoever, but please reach out if it is. And this is probably a little bit more challenging. You'll have to pick a weight that feels comfortable for you. I have about 7 pounds here, but if you're using like 5 pounds, that could be a great place to start. Good. And we're just gonna push up. And you might start to feel that burn. That's totally good. That just means that you're challenging your muscles a little bit more. Good, and press. Let's do 3 more here. 3, 2, and 1. Good, and that's called a shoulder press. Now we're going to do an upright row, which also works the shoulders, okay? So for this one, legs are still going to be in the same position, and because we're not going overhead, we don't have to worry so much about the core. But instead of having your palms facing towards each other, we're going to have our palms facing towards our thighs or towards the back of the room. And we're going to do something called an upright row. So first we want to set ourselves and get in the right positions. So from here, I want you to roll your shoulders back and sort of like take your shoulder blades and draw them down your spine. And trying to hold in that position, you're going to roll your arms up so that your elbows are sticking out to the side and bring it back down. Row up and down. So this is our pulling motion. We did a pushing motion, and now we're doing a pulling motion. And you might feel this a little bit more in the posterior chain, so in the back of your shoulders and upper back muscles. So just pull up, elbows out. Good. Pull up, elbows out. Nicely done. Good. Pull up, elbows go out. Let's do about 3 more. Make sure that we're still kind of drawing those shoulder blades down our back if you can. Good. And 1 more time. Up and relax. Nice work. Okay, so next up, we're gonna come down onto the floor, onto our mat for our next 2. And once we're down, we don't have to come back up. I've designed it that way in case it's hard for you to get up and down. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a push, right? So we're going to go back to a push, but now we're working in a different plane. And then we're going to do another pull motion. So the first is called a chest press. So you're going to need both of your dumbbells for this. And you're going to lie down with your arms up, wrists right over your shoulders. And you're going to lower your elbows down towards the floor, coming to a 90-degree angle, and then pushing back up. So lower down and push. Lower down. Good. Push. And this is working your chest. So you might feel it a little bit in your shoulders, but this is working the same muscles as a push-up would, okay? But this is just a nice way. So a push-up, you're pushing your entire upper body, whereas with this, with the chest press, you can control the weight. So you can find something that feels challenging for you. And ideally, I want you to start to notice that your muscles are fatiguing, they're burning a little bit by the time you get to your last repetition. So you can play around with your weight and find something where you feel like it is challenging your body a little bit, okay? Good, press, and let's do 1 more. And press. And relax. Good. Nice work. Okay. So from here, we are going to flip around onto our hands and knees, and we're going to be doing something called we're going to do a plank. Okay, so this is going to work our core, and then we're going to do a back extension to work our back muscles because we just did our front of our body, and then we're going to finish with our back. So for a plank, what I'm going to get you to do is we're going to start, because this is a beginner, I'm going to get you to start on your knees. But I want you to transition to your toes when you feel comfortable. And we're going to do short planks. So I much prefer that you do 3 really good 10-second planks as opposed to try and do 60 minutes with terrible form. Okay? So we're going to do 3 times 10 seconds. We're going to start by going from our knees. So from your knees, you're gonna come down onto your elbows, making sure that elbows are directly underneath your shoulders. And just make sure that you're not collapsing down. So I want you to try and push your spine away from the mat, and you'll see that your shoulder and your back muscles are going to engage. And then from here, you can bring your hips a little bit, or your knees further behind you, and you're gonna try and create a nice straight line with the body. So we don't want our hips back here, and we don't want them sinking down. So we wanna try to find a nice straight line. I highly recommend that you use a mirror here, so that you can keep an eye on the shape of your body, and you're trying to create a nice straight line from your shoulders all the way down to your knees. And we're just gonna hold for another 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good job. Come down, take a quick break. Let those core muscles relax. And then we're gonna do the same thing, okay? So, elbows underneath the shoulders. And then from here, lift your hips up. Make sure that you're pushing the top of your spine up towards the ceiling so that your shoulders and your back engage. Make sure that you're not too low in that plank, that your hips are in that nice straight line. Again, use a mirror if you have to. And we're gonna hold for 3, 2, 1, and relax again. Good job. We've only got one more to go. One more. All right, let's do that last one. So again, elbows underneath the shoulders. We're gonna come up off of our knees. Make sure that you're nice and strong through the shoulders. You're not collapsing. Make sure you have a nice straight line with your body. Make sure you're not holding your breath here. This is what I see a lot of beginners do, is that when they're in a challenging exercise, they just stop breathing completely. So just focus on your breath. Make sure you're breathing. And we're gonna go for 3, 2, 1, and relax down. Nice work. All right, so from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna be doing back extensions. So we're gonna be working the posterior chain, or the back of our body. And this is our last exercise, and we're gonna do a beginner option. So we're gonna use our hands to help us out a little bit here. And what I want you to do is try not to use your hands in your upper body as much as possible, but you're gonna use your lower back, and you're gonna pull yourself up off the mat as high as you possibly can. And we're gonna count for 3, 2, 1, and lower back down. Good. And let's do that again. Coming all the way up. Try and think, how can I use my back muscles to do this? And when you're there, 3, 2, 1, and lower back down. Good job. Let's come on up. 3, 2, 1, lower back down. We're going to do 3 more like that. Come on up. Use those back muscles. Try not to use the arms. 3, 2, 1, lower back down. Come on up once again. 3, 2, 1, lower back down. And last time, come on up. 3, 2, 1, and lower back down. All right, from here, push yourself into a quick child's pose. We're just gonna stretch out some of our muscles quickly. This is a really nice position because it's stretching out your lower back as well as your shoulders and your upper back. And just reach your fingers as far forward as you can. Good job. And relax. So there you go. That's just a nice quick routine that's just going to get you started with strength training. It's a great place to start. Start with 1 set of everything, and when you feel comfortable, add in a second set.